Question 5, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Tēnā koutou i te whare. My question is to the Minister for Economic Development and asks, did his office withhold information about the harm caused by the SkyCity Convention Centre deal because it was considered sensitive by SkyCity, and if so, why?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no. As the member knows, a huge amount of material relating to the government's negotiations with SkyCity has been released. On July the 8th, I released the Cabinet Papers, Regulatory Impact Statement and material relating to social harm from government agencies. On July 17, I released a larger amount of material relating to the negotiations, all the briefings to various ministers for economic development and emails between officials. As is appropriate when releasing information provided in confidence to the government, SkyCity were consulted about some of the material proposed for release. My office made it clear that the government's preference was to release as much information as possible, and only material genuinely commercially sensitive would be withheld.
Supplementary, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Why did his office agree, after consulting with SkyCity in July, to redact documents and withhold advice about gambling harm arising from the Convention Centre deal?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, the member is simply incorrect. That was not the case, and in fact, if you look through the correspondence that Mr Fisher from the Herald has released, it says my office is saying at various times to officials looking for more material to release, why so much withheld, recut to release more, not less, provide more information and so on, and that was all prior to the big release on July 17.
Supplementary, Metiria Turei.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I seek leave to table a page from the Official Information Act request dated 12th July, which says the second tranche of information is for review.
Order. The member only has to state what the material is,
sure,
and the source, and she's done that. Leave a sort for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action?
No, actually I haven't had an opportunity. Point of order, sir. I haven't had an opportunity to describe it. I can do so now if that would be helpful.
Leave has been granted. Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Mr Speaker, it would be useful for members of the House to have a little bit more information about the document, because I am unclear as to what it is.
I thought the member had made the comment and was then to embellish it, and I wanted to never desist from that. If I was a little bit trigger-happy, I apologise, but leave has been granted. Point of order, Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, the member made it abundantly clear what the document was.
What I thought.
It is not appropriate for members to then read the contents of the document.
Exactly, the point I've made. Members know the rules.
Speaking to the point of order,
No, I've dealt with it. If the member has another supplementary, she should now progress with it.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can you clarify as to whether leave has been put
Leave has been granted.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary. Absolutely, Mr Mallett. A great opportunity for us all.
Supplementary.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. What reasons did SkyCity give to the Minister or to his officials for wanting information withheld about gambling harm from the casino operation, and was one of those reasons commercial sensitivity?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, just for the member's benefit, to clarify what I thought I'd already said in a previous answer, nothing directly related to harm or harm minimisation was withheld at SkyCity's request. The SkyCity-related material that was withheld relates solely to information that was provided in confidence and would have the potential to unreasonably prejudice SkyCity's commercial position. It wasn't in relation to harm or harm minimisation.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
I seek leave to table a second document from the same package of information dated 7th of July, describing how substantially more material on harm minimisation would have been released but for the commercial sensitivity provisions.
And the origin of that was, sorry?
The origin of this document is the Official Information
Act request. Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action? There appears not. Leave is granted.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Was he deliberately misleading the House when he said on 10 July 2013 that, quote, "My understanding is we have released most of the information that we have. I think particularly the key elements in relation to potential harm have been released and are also adequately traversed in the RIS," when in fact the papers now show that but for commercial sensitivity from SkyCity, there would be substantially more material released.
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, no, the member is wrong. And can I point out to her, the two items that she's tabled relate to correspondence, I understand, from the period of around July the 8th. There was a subsequent further release of information on July 17th, a larger amount of information. And again, I will restate, I've sought to release every single piece of information I possibly can and have only withheld anything in relation to commercial sensitivity.
Supplementary Metiria Turei.
Isn't it the case that SkyCity and the Minister have conspired to keep harm minimisation information secret because neither want the public to know how much SkyCity relies on problem gamblers to fuel its profits?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no, and the member can ask the question 6 times if she likes, but the answer remains the same. She is simply wrong, and she's once again seeing conspiracies where there are none.
Supplementary.
It's supplementary.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Given that we... Okay. What an opportunity. My supplementary to the Minister.
Order.
Point of
Well,
order,
the
sir.
member
Point
should
of order,
not be
sir.
distracted.
Point of order, sir.
Point of order.
It is very difficult to focus when there is this kind of chatter from behind.
Order.
So perhaps
I'm on my
keeping
feet.
order would
I'm
be
on
a good
my feet.
idea.
I'm on my feet. If the member responds to an interjection, she has to take the consequences. I gave her the floor. She now has it for her supplementary
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker.
A point of order. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, the problem is that the questioner is trying to put the question, but there's a barrage of an uncultured voice from behind her. It's a very raucous voice, maybe suitable for TV, but not for Parliament.
Well, I have to say I agree with the member, and I've put up with it from both sides from the very first point of question time today. And I, for one, would certainly appreciate more decorum around the asking of questions from all members. Metiria Turei.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Given that we now know that he and SkyCity wanted harm minimisation information kept secret...
Order.
Because of the extent...
A point of order. Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. The member is starting with a supposition which is in direct contradiction with every answer I've given today. Surely she could just ask the question.
Speaking to the point of order. Speaking to the point of order, sir. Speaking to the point of order.
Speaking to the point of order, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The question I am asking is directly related to the information that I have tabled and the evidence that I have presented to the House, which has been accepted for tabling in this House, regardless of whether Mr Joyce's answers.
Yeah, look, I think we get into some difficulty, and I'm just trying to put my hand on the Speaker's ruling, which says a supplementary question should not start with the word given. The clerk will give it to me, but it's, I think, page about 164. No, I'm on my feet. Now, that's been a long-standing principle of questions in this House, and if it's been relaxed of late, the consequence is pretty evident today, that no member can actually say, given it's Standing Order 170/5, and I asked members to have a look at it, and it used 170/5. And it has long been the tradition of this House that supplementary questions should not start with the word given. A supplementary question is in itself that. It is a question. It is not a statement of fact.
Speaker.
Sorry. 178. 170/8. Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
A point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallett.
Mr Speaker, there's no 70/8 in the standing orders.
Sorry. Speaker's rulings, I'm sorry.
What?
Speaker's rulings. A supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Will the Minister now release all the information he and his office have relating to the harm caused by the SkyCity Convention Centre deal, given that we now know that he and SkyCity wanted harm minimisation information kept secret, in part because of the extent to which problem gambling contributes to SkyCity profits, and if he will not release that information, why not?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, given that I already have released the information, how many more times would the member like me to release the same information? And if I was her, I'd read the information that's there. It has all been released. The only thing that has been withheld is in relation to anything that would unreasonably prejudice SkyCity's commercial position.
Question number 6, Nikki Wagner.
Mr.